This is a simplified story of what happened in humans' current situation. David Reich and his team are renowned researchers of ancient DNA for decades. They discovered that steppe pastoralists 5,000 years ago presented Y-DNA A, and Atlantic facade groups presented the quite similar Y-DNA B. Y-DNA A and B are in reality Y-DNA haplogroups R1A and R1B that descended from their R1 parents in the Americas. David Reich is a geneticist and finds out that Y-DNA B is kind of a daughter of Y-DNA A. So for the moment, and because of the absence of other eligible groups in the region, he assumes that the parents of Y-DNA A and Y-DNA B lived in the steppes, and concludes that Atlantic facade groups descended from the steppe pastoralists. Further, David Reich assumes, largely because of consensus, that the children of steppe pastoralists presenting Y-DNA A migrated to Colombia, because the DNA that he and others found in Colombia is similar to the DNA of the steppe pastoralists, and consensus does not recognize that the Americas migrated to the rest of the world, as is proven for a long time by science. Also by means of all relevant migrational markers. Nevertheless, he also thinks that human history and consensus present too many paradigms, that are a kind of doubts, and suggests us to rewrite our human history. We are extremely thankful to him for his research information, because we had no way to get this information, certainly not through the public domain. We know from yet other researchers that the parents of Y-DNA A and Y-DNA B lived in North America. Further, that the grandparents of Y-DNA A and Y-DNA B also lived in Colombia in South America. Further, we, the authors of this reaction video, also know from yet other researchers that a strong current brings a nave-gable ship, with people presenting Y-DNA A, in case plus animals, kind of like depictions of the Ark of Noah, but smaller and probably carrying only one species of animal at a time, mostly horses, from North America to the steppes, and build up the steppe pastoralists together with their herds of animals, but mostly domesticated horses. This is a quite common practice amongst the Vikings, and regularly depicted by those that were raided by the Vikings. Further, we claim the Vikings to be descendants of later out-of-Americans. Steppe pastoralists. To have an idea of the steppe pastoralists, you could look up the Bhutai culture. Archaeological data suggests that the Bhutai were sedentary pastoralists and, further, domesticated mainly horses, but also dogs. The migration from the Americas to Eurasia. The currents push them to the Baltic Sea or the North Sea, and next they navigate up the rivers that spring in the steppes, where they will settle and form the steppe pastoralists. While entering the rivers, most probably they switch to smaller boats, or proceed with their horses and dogs, for protection and to hunt, while the ocean-worthy ships return to the Americas through the same gyre that circles the North Atlantic. At the same time or somewhat later, the same strong current brings a navigable ship, possibly the same ships with people presenting Y-DNA B and warfare, from North America to the steppes to the Atlantic facade. The people found in North America are the parents of Y-DNA A and Y-DNA B. The people in Colombia are the grandparents of Y-DNA A and Y-DNA B. We bring genetics and our knowledge of the ocean currents together, and deliver the new story to David Reich, who will decide whether he accepts or rejects the new story based on yet other information that he did not find time to inform us of. Since we have no direct contact with David Reich, we ask you to deliver the new story to David Reich, and/or his team, who will decide whether he accepts or rejects the new story. Why would it even matter if David Reich would accept or reject the new story? It matters quite a lot, because it could prevent the eventual extinction of 8 billion humans and make them thrive, with the help of modernized early sustainable practices, especially carbon agroforests. What follows is a more complete story. That also is our hypothesis in story form. That is so because the grandparents lived in a carbon agroforest and took care of it, the Amazon forest, kind of like Adam and Eve and... To be clear, in the new story we claim that to the steppe pastoralists similar groups in Colombia and humans the rest of the Americas, do not come from migrating steppe pastoralists. That is also hardly realistic. For them to thrive enough, especially seeing their lifestyles, that do not involve agriculture nor carbon agroforests, and the climates and environments they and their animals migrate, live and settle in. Ate all kind of healthy foods from the trees, and what they would plant between them, as well as tapirs and pigs they raised with kitchen rests and pruning materials from the forest, and they, just like their descendants today, represent the best heart and brain health of the world, as well as relative absence of degenerative diseases which facilitate epidemics. The descendants of our ancestors in the Amazon forest go on to tell their ancestors' story, and provide insight into solutions for all or most of our growing challenges of the last decades. Maintain the carbon agroforests that regulate local and also global climate. Renewables, while providing very welcome renewable energy, will not solve our health nor climate challenges, unfortunately quite on the contrary. Renewables will also not deliver the materials we need and mostly produce out of fossil fuels. Carbon agroforests will provide much more of these very welcome renewable energies, but also all other materials that we humans need, and today continue to produce out of fossil fuels. The new story and us 8 billion modern humans. Once all 8 billion people learn the new story, they start action and from then on recover their health, wellness, and hope, and also have the ideal number of children that are also healthy and thrive because the carbon agroforest abundantly provides them with all they need and want, like a kind of horn of abundance. Claimers. We are no geneticists nor doctors, and we do not provide medical advice. We feature a YouTube playlist exclusively dedicated to the work of David Reich and his team and those that interviewed them. This is because we consider David Reich's work as essential to be able to rewrite human history, etc. Unlike many other scientists, he is very actively involved in YouTube videos that are essential for the information and education of a larger public. The videos he is interviewed in, or that he presents, are like a kaleidoscope. Every time and wherever you look, you will discover something new or more, and that makes assisting them kind of magical. Of course, you need to have the basic information to be able to follow. We hope we made his work more accessible to the general public that needs to understand our human behavior and incredible successful lifestyles of our deep past. With him and his public activities, our chances to ever uncover the complete and deep human history have become infinitely greater. Before his work, we humans were in a kind of 100-year-long deadlock regarding our history and how to make it useful for our health, knowledge, welfare, and existence. We claim that better knowledge of our origin and history will provoke new knowledge, bring under our attention certain rarely practiced knowledge, and also unlock certain knowledge that was lost for hundreds and or thousands of years. Our YouTube channel and username is Origin for Existence.